you everyone for joining us today. I want to welcome Helle Sapone, who is with us to share her story with her son, of course, regarding housing options. And I really wanted to talk with families that utilize the host home option. So I want to thank you for being here today. We've had some little technical snafus, and I do appreciate your patience. But I think the information that we're going to hear today is going to be valuable for families. So I do appreciate your time. And so Helle, tell us a little bit about your son.
Okay, he is 32 years old. His birthday is coming up in about a couple of weeks, and he'll be 33. He's a young man with autism. And of course, autism spectrum is wide. He is more on what you call traditional autism, in that he doesn't have language like you and I to communicate. So therefore, he is behind a lot with comprehension and communication and social skills. He's a sweetheart. He's my eternal 7-year-old, I would say. And he's just a bundle of love. He's happy.
That's wonderful to hear. So tell us a little bit about the decision-making process in terms of thinking about the future for him. So at what point did you think it might be time to transition to something different?
Well, obviously, kids can go to school till their 22nd birthday, and then it's a rude awakening because there's not much after that. So that was a point where I started just with self-directed care to keep him active during the day, but it wasn't enough because he needed more routine. So I got out and interviewed, in a way, different day programs in the area where we live. And we live in Atlanta area, so it's all the surrounding areas and suburbs and so forth, till I found something that was fitting for his needs. And that was a long period. I probably spent like months trying to find the right thing. And the one I found was far away. So to begin with, I would drive him, and that would be from where I lived at that time, about an hour each way to the day program. So dropping him off and then coming back. Then at the day program, now we had the day program going, I still was feeling that since he was in his 20s, we were starting to resent each other a little bit because we were limiting each other's life to some extent. And that I always had to be with him. He always had to be with me. And I think it's normal when kids get older that you want to kind of separate a little bit so you can enjoy each other, that it's not always you have to eat your broccoli, but it's like, oh, how great to see you. I can be a Disneyland parent. I can just spoil you and so forth, right? So then I started looking at a different option, and we found a host family. And that has been very successful, and he's now been there for almost 10 years.
So can you, so that's really great to hear. And I do get the part about being the parent that just, reminds you to eat your broccoli. And as our children become adults, we're still mothers, right? So it's hard to separate. Yeah. So I do get that. And I do understand their perspective. So for those who don't know, can you describe what a host home is?
Yeah. A host home is literally somebody else's home where they live. It's their rules, their house. being a parent of a special needs child, and I think most parents of special needs children have had to fight for their children and speak up for them for so long that it's hard to let go of the control. However, the thing I was looking for in the host family is the natural environment where you have a nice family that's structured, and that your child or young adult is taking in as a member of that family, being part of the family routine and whatever they do. And that is what he got.
And so who coordinates that effort? So it's not, you didn't actually have to go find the family, or did you? What was that process like?
Okay. Ours was a bit luck, I would say. He was at the day program, and the caregiver had another boy that he was taking care of in a day program. And he would come pick up the other boy, and he met my son. And he just fell in love with my son, saying, "Oh, I love this population." And the director of the day program at that time, she knew that I was looking for a host family, and she said, "He really loves your son, and he has a boy who has been thriving there. I've been with him for like 10 years, and he's come a long way, and he loves your son, and it would like they could be together at the same house." And so I went to check out the house, and it was really nice. People were nice. It was a husband and wife. They had retired, and they had very structured, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and what they did. So it was very nice that they could have all of the routine built in, and they were a very caring family.
So what is the structure of his day typically? Does he go to a day program?
Yes.
He does. So he's at a day program, and then he gets picked up, and then he's with them evenings. And how often do you get to see him?
Okay. He can come home at any time, and we can call at any time, but we have it set up that he comes home for a long weekend once a month. Then he's home for holidays too. And but literally we can come see him anytime, or he can come home at any time. And we can take him home for doctor's appointments if need be.
What about the communication? What is that like? Is that, how do you find out how he's doing, if he's ill, that kind of thing? What's the communication between the host home provider and you like?
Well, first of all, we got phones. So if there's anything, my son has a seizure disorder. So if there's a seizure or something, there's a call. So we have a protocol set up around that. And for anything else, we just have like you would have with a mother or a sister or brother. It's not something that is mapped out like necessarily on this day we do that, on that day we do this. It's very natural.
So it's an open communication then?
Absolutely. And again, I stress we can call it anytime, and they can call it anytime. Okay. And actually now my son, I just received a call from my son yesterday. The caregiver is working on getting him to be able to use the phones, which is a wonderful thing.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So it's good to hear there's open communication. Yes. He enjoys living there?
He loves it. He loves it. I think that the caregiver and his wife, they look at the boys as part of their family. The other boy has been there now, I think like 20 years now. And my son has been there like 10. So literally, they're part of the fabric of that family. And they would even, take them on vacation with them, going to the beach.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, so
Yes,
it's really working
yes,
for him and for you. So,
absolutely.
is there an agency or organization that handles sort of the business side of things? Does he have a waiver?
He does have a waiver, and UCP, United Cerebral Palsy, they handle his um, uh, what can call logistics of
Yeah.
whatever they need to do. And then he also has a caseworker from the state, that coordinates that with it. And then we all team together, and then we have an ISP for service plan uh, that we get together on and update when needs to be.
So it sounds like a very coordinated effort. And did you choose to get guardianship with your son, or did you just choose to not? Or is that even relevant in this situation in terms
Uh,
of, yeah.
Absolutely, it is. I got guardianship when he turned 18. And uh, my son has no idea with anything like not even, buying a house, buying a soda, buying a car. It's all $1. He has no concept.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, he's great in math. I mean, his brother taught him multiplication in 10 minutes. But what I'm saying is that as to apply it, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, I hear you. So it was, you felt that it was necessary to go that legal route of guardianship. Um,
Absolutely.
and
It's just thinking of, a lot of the things where you have to say, like, even in the ISP, where you have to put your signature down. He has no idea what he's putting his signature down.
so again, for legal documents, for and other reasons, it was something that you thought it was wise to pursue when he turned 18.
Absolutely.
So as we think about as family members of adults or even teens who are transitioning, is there any advice that you would give us on perhaps how do we start looking? What's the research that we need to do? It sounds like you said, part of yours was a little bit of luck too.
It was a lot of luck, but it was a lot of luck after I ran into a lot of walls. you know, I left no rock unturned.
So you did the research. So
Yeah,
you weren't just sort of floating around and, oh, by the way, this host family situation came to you. You had started that process.
I had started that process, and I had been going at it for a year before we found it.
And had you pursued other things as well, such as group homes and um, having your son perhaps live in his own home with supports coming in?
Um, Actually, it scared me to put my son in a group home because he's more like my little child, and that's his mentality. So
Mhm.
even when he got to the host family, they became uncle and aunt because I couldn't leave him with a stranger. You know,
Okay. Okay.
he's that sweetness little thing. So he's like a little child in a grown man's body, right? So I thought if he was in a group home where staff would be coming in, it wouldn't be the same as a family. Like it's almost like who can love my child?
Okay.
And I felt that a group home would be staff. It wouldn't be the same as a family that would be there.
Well, it sounds like you found the perfect situation for
Yeah.
him, one that he is thriving in. Is there
Yes.
anything else that you would advise families to do when they start this process?
Yes. First of all, I think a lot of things for parents, what we have to do, and I mentioned before, it's hard to give up control. Because if you have somebody who you think uh, needs help, we all tend to want to be the one to decide on what needs to be done, when needs to be done, and how it's done. as I've gotten older, I have learned to accept that there are many ways to get the same thing done, but the biggest thing is to build trust. So, and how do you build trust? So, I guess that's part of the question I want parents to ask themselves. How can I build trust for my child and his caregivers, whichever way they are, and the family, and how can we have communication between that's working? And if something is not working, then we can always come fetch him or her, you know?
Right, absolutely. You do have that option at any time. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it doesn't sound like you're going to need to use that option, which is great. Everything has worked out for you and your son, and I just want to thank you so much for telling your story. It's going to help so many other families who are at the beginning of this process, or maybe have chosen another option and want to try something different. So I thank you again. And again, we've had some little technical blips here and there, and some of them on my side. And thank you so much for your time and for this wonderful information that you're sharing with families.
You're welcome.